Hello guys, and welcome to Discussion with a Russian. So, on today's episode, I want to talk to you about what it's like to date a Russian girl. First of all, number one, it's masculinity. You've got to be the man, you've got to be the guy, you've got to be the one who carries everything. If she falls on the floor, you have to lift her up. No matter how strong you are, you have to be strong. Russian relationships, usually back home, are based on the concept that, there is a woman who's a delicate, fragile flower, and then there is this man who is very masculine and will save her. And even though usually Russian women joke about it, because by the end of their marriages, they're usually the ones who carry everything, who do everything for the men. But in the courting period, it's usually the guy who does, not usually, 100%, it's the guy who does all the heavy lifting, does all the manly stuff. He makes the decision, he tells you where to go, he tells you where to meet him. If you ever decide to go on holidays, for instance, with your friends, and he doesn't want you to go, you're not going. So, number two would be manners. You've gotta have manners, guys. You've gotta be very nice, open doors, everyone has to have manners. And it's not just Russian people. I think everyone abroad has to have manners. But we don't see this very often for some reason. And in Russia, women are, as I said, they're considered fragile. So if you go in a tube, everyone would stand up. No matter how young or how athletic a girl looks, they will stand up for her to sit down. So this is something I kind of been missing, because it is nice, let's admit it, it's very nice. Wherever you go, guys will open doors for you, they'll pick you up, they'll drive you home. You don't need to really worry about oh my god, how I'm getting home, because it's usually the guys. If you're with a guy, 100% he'll sort it out. So this is not a video of telling you just stand on a street and wait for someone to pick you up, but obviously think about it. But usually if you even go on a date with a guy, you shouldn't need to worry about how you're getting home, because guys 99% sort out your cabs or drop you off or whatever, which I kind of really missed. And it's not just about how much money they've invested in you, but it's about just how nice it is. Just feeling feeling that someone is taking care of you and someone feels that you're important to them. So, number three, and I've briefly mentioned it already and I kind of regretted it, but let's just roll with it. It's money. If you don't have money, you have to waste money on her. If you are trying to earn money, well done, because no Russian girl ever pays for anything. It's really bad, but you pay for everything. And that's how the Russian relationships kind of go. They don't think it's a bad thing, in no way they think, oh my god, do I need to give him money? That thought would never even cross her mind, because from a young age, we've been brought up to take care of ourselves, constantly have our hair done, constantly have our nails done. It's embarrassing if your nails are not done. Constantly look after yourself, go to gym every day, eat healthy, all of these things to make sure you constantly look great. Because if you don't, no one will invest their money in you to have you around, basically. And a woman has to know how to cook, she has to know how to clean, all of these things, because in majority of cases, a woman is a woman. She has to look nice next to her guy, she has to bring comfort to the house, she has to look after the kids. And I always want to be like this really independent woman, but somewhere back of my mind, there is this tiny, tiny, tiny mini Russian sitting there, and it's like, no, go do your nails. You're gonna marry soon, very soon. Number 4. Marriage, guys. If you ever think of dating a Russian girl, no, she will expect to get married within a year, 1 year. Because back home, we've been taught that, you know, if a guy doesn't want to marry you within 1 year, and he's still, you know, just kind of figuring his stuff out, then he's not sure about you. And you don't have very much time. In Russia, you have to be married by 25, because if you're not married by 25, no one will marry you. You lose everything that's good about you. No one will spend their money on you. You have to marry by 25. And this is something that's been stuck in my brain so much that it's really depressing. And still now, my parents call me up and they're like, and I'm not 25 yet, but they call me up every day since I was 20. Oh, every day, every time on my birthday, they call me up since I was 20, saying, hello, so happy birthday, and you know, the clock is ticking, so I need to marry ASAP. And it's so stressful. I'm just there being like, okay, still not married. You have to just know that Russian girls are really not to be messed around with, because this is so bad for them in the long run, and they get so upset. And I've heard of so many cases where girls put 100% of themselves in a relationship. They cook everything, do everything, you know, for the guy, and like he stays in their flat because they clean the flat all the time. They cook 3 meals a day at least, pack him lunches, and he's still like that, sitting, I'm not sure about her. Well, if you're not sure about her, don't waste your time. There'll be tons of other guys who'd swoop her up. I absolutely love how Russian girls invest in a relationship, because for them it's kind of work, you know. Lots of European people think it's like very romantic. For Russian girls, it could be very romantic, of course, you know, but it's also work, and Russian people are hardworking. If anything, they are hardworking. So you do have to remember that she'll put everything in this relationship, but she'll expect that you'll pay for everything, open her the doors everywhere, that you will be very manly about all your decisions, but all your decisions would be towards marriage. I hope this episode makes sense. Please, please, please let me know if you have any more questions, and I'll see you in the next couple of days. Bye. Love you guys.